Well, how's it going? Today we are talking about Ram trucks, more specifically my long history with Ram trucks. You see, I've been driving the same truck now for about 20 years. Bought the first one, the first one was in 03. I drove that one for about 12 years, and I saw a deal I couldn't say no to, so I bought the same exact truck about 8 years ago. And that's where we are today. You see, this is a video about the testament of my good story with Ram trucks. They've taken care of me in all my adventures over the last 20 years. No, this is not a product placement. I'm not paid to do this. I'm doing this because I like the truck that much, and all I ever hear is bad stuff about Ram trucks. So I'm a good story, and I wanted to share that with you. So right about now, my subscribers are saying, "Hey Brandon, we're here for the KLR. Where's the motorcycle?" But don't you worry though. You see, this is the same truck that I drove to the dealership to buy the KLR, and then I hauled it home from there. And so we're all good. We're still on topic. Let's get going and see where this goes. So let's talk reliability. How many problems have I had in 300,000 miles driving basically the same truck? Well, the first truck was easy. I put 175,000 miles on that one. Mostly it was a commuter truck, but it spent its time off-road a little bit, did a little bit of hauling. It even spent a little bit of time as a pizza truck. That was funny. But the only thing I can remember going wrong with that truck was there was a little $1.25 repair I had to make. It was an evaporator hose that had set off a check engine light. Pretty simple, just crawl into the truck, a couple of hose clamps, done in 5 minutes. This one's had a little more checkered pass, and that's not meant in a bad way, just that's had a few more items. Most significant things I can remember, about 50,000 miles in, I think fuel sensor went out. Not that big of a deal, I didn't have the right tool to fix it and procrastinated too long trying to get that, so that made it an extra headache. And then I think about 100,000 miles, the thermostat, the seal on the thermostat went bad, so I started leaking coolant. Same thing, that's not a huge fix, I think all in all though I was probably 150 in repairs on this maybe. The battery suddenly did die about 4 years in. That just happens, can't blame the truck for that. I found a rat living in my mouse box once, that was exciting. And I think someone broke my mirror, which was just annoying to fix because mostly I was just mad the guy broke my mirror. Other than that though, I think the first truck did have a broken taillight. I think I backed into a mailbox or something with that. I don't want to talk about that story. But anyways, yeah, been very reliable other than that though. It's very easy to fix, which is kind of the point of this video, is you see, I feel we're at the end of an era here. That's what this video is kind of alluding to, is that what I've loved about my Hemi trucks so much is that these are kind of the last era of trucks I feel you can really work on yourselves, as we're getting rid of gas engines, of course. And as I talk a little bit about the Hemi motor history, you'll understand why this truck is still a truck that a backyard mechanic can work on himself. So I did all the work myself on these trucks. I don't pay someone to work on my truck ever. I've never been to a dealership or hired any mechanics to work on them. I do admit I do pay guys to do my brakes, tires, and suspension because that's just too much of a headache and too much risk. But this truck's had a long service life. I'm currently a landscape contractor, so I'm out there hauling dirt, rocks, and whatever's heavy every day with a half-ton get you, which is kind of an oddball thing to use, but there's a different story behind that. And I tow a dump trailer every day, so this thing's hauling 10,000 pounds a day. Well, combined weight, not all day, but whatever. And if it's not doing that, it's hauling toys on the weekend, it's taking the family. I mean, this thing's driven through blizzards, it's been to the dunes, it's been off-road. it's done a lot of fun stuff for the family. So when I say this is the end of the era, what am I talking about? I mean, I'm talking about the HEMI engine and these simple old school motors that you can do all the work on yourself with, because you got to do a little bit of history on the HEMI to understand what's so great about it. A lot of guys following the Toyota craze, you could say, missed out on what was a great opportunity to own a very old school truck made with modern emission standards. You see, the HEMI, Chrysler originally made that for World War II. It was designed for the P-47 Thunderbolt. It was supposed to be an upgrade. But by then, the war was over, and they didn't need that plane anymore, and so that idea got scrapped, and the HEMI engine got transferred over to the car division. This is actually the third generation HEMI right here, which is basically the same as the old school HEMIs. It's a little bit complicated. I know there's the guys out there are going to know their stuff, but beyond that, we'll just keep it simple. It's a little more complicated than the original HEMIs, but the third gen HEMI is still just an old school motor with modern emission standards. That's all it really is. That's why it's got 16 spark plugs, because the extra 8 are just there to burn off the extra emissions, so we still have a clean engine. And we can still run it today, or at least we could until now, because of course they're, decommissioning the HEMIs. We're getting V6s in every half ton now, so if you want a V8, you're going to have to really spend a lot of extra money for those emission fees. But beyond that, that's kind of the era of the simple trucks made the way they used to be, and you could do all the work yourself. Is that true or not? I don't know, but with the electric truck era coming, like it or not, that's just what it kind of is. I mean, plus let's not forget that the history of Dodge itself is a World War vehicle. World War II, they called them beeps, because Dodge were basically that was the one-ton truck that the military drove, and it wasn't a Jeep, it was a beep. It's the same thing, Dodge, Jeep. Chrysler has a history in World War II vehicles, now owned by, of course, Fiat Chrysler, Stellantis. That's all good. I'm not going to get into that topic, but the fact is this truck's done it all for me. So where to now? What was the point of all this? I mean, look, I've been debating this topic for 10 years at least. I knew what was coming. The issue I debated was, do I buy another HEMI? I still have my chance. I still have my chance, actually. I could buy, this is the last year they're available. You can still buy a 2024 HEMI. Or do you wait it out for electric trucks? Not that I'm in love with the idea, but it comes down to the future. Where do you place your bets in the future? I mean, is the future going to be just a matter of everything's electric? Are gas prices going to stay stable? Or is 10 years from now, are we going to be looking at $15 per gallon gas because they want to get us out of gas trucks and into electric? That's kind of where I've sat on the fence. I've spent a lot of time in the EV forums debating electric truck versus gas, and I know the pros and cons. Currently, I'll admit that I am on the reservation list for the RamCharger and the Ram Rev. I haven't decided which. The RamCharger appeals to me more, but I like the idea of a frunk, to be honest. Having to be able to put my cargo in the front of the truck would be nice. But it just depends on what Ram lets us know. Because this is all they're supposed to reveal these production models this fall, we hope. And the RamCharger, I think, is coming out next year. So we'll wait and see. I've also considered a Rivian, but I got to be honest, I have no idea how I would be a landscape contractor with an SUV. It just doesn't work for me. So I could potentially just keep my old HEMI truck and just run a Rivian for a toy. But even then, it doesn't haul toys very well. It is a toy, but it doesn't haul many toys. As you've seen, I like to shove a lot of fun stuff in the back of my truck and hit the road for the week. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think. I mean, it's been a topic of mine for a long time. It's hard to replace a legacy vehicle like a Ram with a HEMI. They just don't make them like they used to anymore. Isn't that what old people say? Am I old now? What's going on?